Hello, fellow chemistry TAs. Today I'm going to be walking you through our Teams channel, and I'm doing this on my iPad because most likely you will download this on your mobile device. If not, the desktop version is very similar and it should transfer over pretty well. Um, I will note that I don't have the most updated version of Teams currently on my iPad, so I will point out any nuances or differences that you may see. So, you will see if you are added to multiple teams, if you're only added to this one, you should see which teams under your teams icon in the main sidebar to the far left. And so, depending on what orientation your Teams is set up to be, it'll probably either look like one of these two versions. And so I'm going to use this version because it's probably the closest to mimicking the desktop version. We are going to focus on the teaching assistants channel. And so you will probably have some of these channels available to you. Some of them will be hidden because they don't necessarily need access to them. But when you click on your teaching assistants channel, you will have three options on the top sidebar, or top, not really sidebar, but top bar. And you'll have posts. Yours may say files or shared. So files and shared are the same thing. That is where we will be posting, updating, and homing all your files that you will need as a TA. So I'm going to use general chemistry as an example. So we host 161, 181, 271, 278, 101, 102, all under their general theme. So it is important for you to know your lab code as you are accessing these files because it'll be drastically different if you're unaware of which type of TA you are. So please be aware of that and consult the emails, the confirmation emails of which position that you are fulfilling so that you know which lab you will be in. So I'm going to use 181 as an example because we have the most 181 TAs. So if you select the 181 folder, you have access to safety sheets, procedures, and your TA notes. Now, the safety sheets are there for your information, and I do really hope that you take the time to look at each individual safety sheet when you are approaching these labs because it helps you be aware of the hazards. When we become more knowledgeable of the hazards, it reduces the risks of things happening because you are aware of more things that could potentially go wrong. Now, generally, these are safe labs. However, human error is a huge factor. And so we want to be aware that anything can happen. We are prepared mentally and physically to react should that happen. And so the first place I would suggest you start are just your TA notes. So if I'm going to start with Le Chatelier's, we're going to look at the general structure, which is before, during, and at the end of lab procedure. So when you come into lab, ideally we'd love you to be there 15 minutes prior so that you could fulfill all of these tasks. Of course, that's if that's possible. So you're going to check in at the stockroom window there's a little orange binder with your name and the date, and we just want to know when you check in, the time, and when you check out. This just helps us know how long the labs will be. This lab in particular requires you grabbing the cooler and filling it up with ice on the third floor. If you're on the second floor, you can use a cart, you can take it up the stairs however you see fit. And then you want to just double check that you have all the reagents you need for the lab because it's better that you come prepared, that everything is ready for your lab section before you need it. Because then it's a little bit of a scramble if we don't have time to prepare it. Then it just gives you some notes on what to watch out for during lab and what you want to take care of. Specifically, this highlights waste because the waste structure is a little bit different. But if you've been through these labs, you are probably a little familiar with how waste was done and what to expect. And then your general end of lab procedure. Some of them have after lab procedures. This just depends on the type of lab that you will be doing. And it does help just to look at all the procedures from time to time because I really am sure that you don't remember every single individual detail that comes with these labs. Sometimes things change. So it is helpful to be aware, read through the procedure, even if you have to just skim it. just be more aware of what is happening, and it will help you answer student questions because oftentimes students overthink even the most specific of procedures. So just give yourself time to read through it. Even if you need to take notes and compare it to TA notes, that's something that is super helpful. And again, I will emphasize that you have the safety sheets at your disposal. This is just to help show you things to keep an eye out for. And this is just, for example, let's just say somebody did spill potassium iodate on themselves. Ideally, if you generally see a GHS symbol that has the exclamation point, that's like general toxicity. So it can cause serious irritation if it was somehow ingested. We want to make sure that we are getting the appropriate medical attention or even contacting poison control if needed. So these are all here. Students will always prove you wrong. Everything you think could not go wrong would probably go wrong. So Murphy's Law, just keep that in mind. Um, but everything is a little bit different. If you are intro to chemistry, not every lab has TA notes. It's mostly because there's a mixture between dry labs and wet labs. So it really just depends on the type of lab. So if there is no TA notes, I would not stress. There usually is a procedure to help you feel confident and know what you'll be doing in lab that day. And lastly, I do expect you to have this on your phone. Um, if it's on your laptop, that's a bonus, but I really do expect you to have Teams because it is our main method of communication. So Noah and I will be using this to communicate any updates or changes or any unexpected things that start happening with the labs as we do them throughout the week. So it is important that you check Teams periodically. Um, just so that we are in contact with you. It is also the easiest way to contact me if you have a question, you need something, or have questions or concerns. It is the fastest way to contact me through the amount of emails that I receive every day. So please feel free to let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And just take some time, play around in Teams, and just read everything that we got because this is a resource and we want to make sure that you have easy access to it. So again, call me, email me, let me know if you have any questions and we can easily address that.